Hello BookTube, Sarah here, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with the Friday Reads. So let's jump right in and get started with what I am reading this weekend. So my ebook is Montana Vet by Anne Rolfe. This is the Novel Expectations book club pick for the month of August, and I'm finally getting to it. I don't know. I do my books at random. I have my list of all the books that I plan on reading in a month, and I kind of just pick books at random. And this one just happened to come up last, but I'm about 2 chapters into it, about 20-25% into it, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a cute little story about, a woman who runs an animal shelter or a dog shelter and a local vet. So, yeah, it's a Harlequin American romance. These are super sweet. This cover is just gorgeous. And, yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. And what I've gathered from reading other people's reviews on the Goodreads group is that a lot of people really enjoyed this, so I'm glad about that. My audiobook that I will be listening to is The Cursed by Heather Graham. I believe this is book either 11 or 12 in the Crew of Hunters series. This one is really fun. It takes place in Key West, Florida, which is really kind of nice in August. You know, the hot weather in Key West, and Key West also happens to be one of those bucket list places I eventually want to visit. I would love to fly to South Florida and then just get in a car and drive, Highway 1 or whatever it is, like that highway that goes over the water, and go and spend some time in Key West. It's about a bed and breakfast that is being haunted by ghosts, and it's got pirates, and someone is, it's something about a local drug cartel, and somebody's been murdered, and it sounds really good. I'm really enjoying it. I'm about 35 to 40% of the way through it. It is narrated on audio by Luke Daniels, and he's doing a really great job. I do speed up my audiobooks to listen to them, and it's really great sped up. It doesn't bother me in the least. Some you can do that, and some you can't. So this is one that evidently I can. I'm going to talk in a minute about my ebooks and audiobooks, but quickly, my Babysitter's Club book that I'm currently reading is book number 11 in the Babysitter's Club series, Kristy and the Snobs, and of course this is by Anne M. Martin. Back in Kristy's last book, in book number 6, her mother got remarried and they moved to a very fancy neighborhood, and this is now all about the local kids that she feels are snobs. This one is also a book that I think is really going to be difficult for me to read because of the situation that happened earlier this month with my kitty cat. In this book, from what I remember, Kristy's old collie dog passes away, and I think that's going to be really hard to read about when I get to it. Again, in light of what happened earlier this month to me. And it just kind of goes to show you that even though these books are meant for middle grade children, they can still have bearing when you're an adult in some situations. So, yeah. So anyway, really quickly, I want to kind of talk about my ebooks and audiobooks. The list for the Triple RC Challenge, for those of you who are also doing the challenge, has been posted for September, which I like. From like the 15th of the month, I just literally start checking that every day to see if the list has been posted. And oftentimes, we get an email every month saying that the new challenges for the month have been posted, but I often am a day ahead of even that email, when I look at the list, because I get so excited to see what's coming out, or what the challenges are going to be. And I realized, because I think I told you guys already, about half of my TBR for August, I was able to get on audiobook. And I find I am having a very difficult time actually reading an ebook lately. I just don't have the interest to sit down and physically hold my e-reader or a book and read it. I would much rather listen to it. And I think that's because I'm doing other things. I love the fact that the more and more I listen to audiobooks, the more and more I'm falling in love with them. I can listen to them in my car on the way to and from work. I listen to them at work when I'm, on my lunch for an hour, and I'm sitting there knitting away on a sock and listening to an audiobook. I can listen to them while I'm doing the dishes, while I'm cleaning the bathroom, while I'm vacuuming the apartment, just all these little things that I'm doing, I can be listening to an audiobook. So the 10 challenges that were posted for the Triple RC Challenge for September, 8 of them are going to be on audiobook. I'm never going to exclusively be able to go over to audiobook. There are far too many books I want to read that are not on audiobook. But my other problem is that I've been a big slacker in the month of August, and I haven't been going to the gym. I'm supposed to be going at least 4 times a week, as per my cardiologist, because I'm supposed to be getting, exercise. They're such sticklers for that. No good food, and you must exercise. What's the point? No, but seriously. I've mentioned this before, I think, and I actually read while I'm on the treadmill. Because I'm not going at a really fast pace, I'm not running, I'm not jogging. I'm doing like one of those quick power walks. And I don't do a grade, like I don't like go up on a slant or anything like that. It's just straight walking. And which is, my cardiologist is absolutely fine with that. Like she told me, I'm never going to be a long distance runner. As long as I'm getting some sort of cardio in to help my, you know, pulmonary, you know, the heart and lungs and all that stuff, she's happy. But I've been a slacker in the month of August. A lot has happened this month, as you guys know, with my kitty cat, with going to Chicago, with my husband switching shifts and all that stuff, trying to get some sort of an order back into our lives. So I do plan on restarting again next week. So I will be able to be reading again, and I can read for a good 45 minutes on the treadmill every day. So that's a good chunk of reading, physical reading. I can't listen to an audiobook on the treadmill. It's the one place I can't listen to an audiobook. I just get too distracted. You know, like I almost need blinders like those horses, like when you see horses in a horse race, like so they can't see what's going on around them. But the other problem is too, is when I'm listening to an audiobook, I'm just kind of looking around, and I'm also looking at the screen on the treadmill and seeing how much time I have left, and it seems to take forever. So I think that's also part of the problem. That's why I'd rather read. At least I'm focusing on reading something and not reading the numbers on the treadmill. Does that make sense? Anyway, big long explanation to say I am probably going to end up reading a lot more on audiobook than I am on ebook. But it is what it is. It's still reading to me. It's all reading. And yeah, I'm absolutely happy with the way things are going right now with my reading. I actually just increased my Goodreads goal again to 170 books this year. I will talk more about that when I do my wrap-up in a couple weeks. But yeah, so that's a cool thing. The other thing I want to talk about are the videos coming up next week. I do kind of like to, when I remember, to talk about the videos that are going to be upcoming. Next week there's going to be a really special video, I think. I mentioned this earlier this month and before, that I want to start, when I'm rating my books, when I do my wrap-ups for you guys, is also to give the sexy times rating, as I like to call it. So I'm going to do a whole discussion video on how I'm rating those. This is something I've been thinking about for the last 6 weeks. I've been making notes, and how I'm going to rate them, and what's going to make sense, and what's the easiest. So I finally have like a formula of sorts down, like I know the ratings that I want to give things. And I'm going to talk about that and do a whole video talking about that. And, of course, I'll talk more about how that's going to come into effect when I do my wrap-ups. But I just want to give you guys the heads up that that's coming on Monday. And my Wednesday video, of course, is going to be my TBR for September. And I'm super excited about it. I cannot wait. So, yes. And someone is calling me, and I don't know who that is. Anyway, sorry. Don't you love the Fitbit that you get like notification? Anyway, so yeah, so that's very exciting. So what else am I going to be doing this weekend? I will show you guys very, very quickly. I'm actually going to be cross-stitching this weekend. Yes, I do cross-stitch along with knitting. I actually used to cross-stitch before I knit, before I learned to knit. So this is the picture I'm working on. I will put a picture up here of what the finished cross-stitch is. This is by a company called Cloud Factory. And I'll leave a link in the description box below if you're interested in checking out their patterns. They have a lot of really cool geek patterns like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and Star Wars and all kinds of stuff. But this is a Zodiac. This was actually a knit-along, a whole year-long knit-along in 2015. But I'm doing it as one piece now. So I'm on all the moons and stuff like that. And I'm, you know, I love it. I'm going to give this some love this weekend because, frankly, it needs it. And I've got my awesome little needle minders up here. That's my Logan who passed away a couple years ago. Ariel from The Little Mermaid. I love polar bears. This is a picture. It's kind of hard to see of me and my friends at Rhinebeck a couple years ago. And then this one is a little owl. You probably can't see it, but it's a little owl, and it says, "My acceptance letter came." And it's a Harry Potter reference. So yeah, so that's what I'll be working on this weekend. Other than that, not much planned. Pretty chill weekend. It's supposed to actually be kind of cool around here. It's going to be like 20, which I think, if you convert that into U.S. Temperature, is something like 70, between 60 and 70. So, yeah, a little bit on the cooler side, considering it's been really humid lately. So I'm really happy about that. But anyway, I want to keep this short and sweet. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments below what you're reading this weekend, or what you're going to be doing this weekend. And I will see you all in my next video. Until then, take care and happy reading, everybody. Bye.